Today is a big day for Valorant with the release of the full notes for patch 0.49. Please let me know what you like or dislike on these changes, and if you liked this video and want more, please do subscribe and hit that notification bell. Riot has released a full breakdown of this new patch hitting North America and EU. Riot has tweeted out expected time servers will be down, so expect servers to be going down for Europe roughly around 3:30 a.m. CEST on April 29th local time, and back up around 9 a.m. CEST. Also on April 29th local time for North America, matchmaking and servers start going down at roughly 4:30 a.m. Pacific time, and then back up at 10 a.m. So we're hoping all these changes go smoothly, and that competitive mode follows shortly after. And so let's go into these patch notes, guys. Riot is reworking two characters, Omen and Sage. Omen now immediately becomes vulnerable and no longer appears dark after he leaves his alternate shadow form. If you were to find enemy Omen teleporting in, it was often confusing when you should shoot him to get the kill versus sending him back. So it looks like Riot has addressed this issue and has changed the animation somewhat to allow you to differentiate when to shoot him. They have also decreased the attenuation radius, and so it's going to be harder for you to locate Omen, but if you do, it's going to be easier for you to kill him. So that's great. I think it's great on both sides. It's not too overpowering in either way. And I do hope the attenuation radius does have an effect, because as an Omen main myself, this has been a big issue. It's way too easy to find Omen when he teleports behind the enemy team or wherever he's teleporting. The enemy team's able to locate him way too fast, in my opinion. So this is going to be a great implementation for Omen, and I look forward to seeing it. For Sage, her barrier orb has been reworked. The barrier orb will only spawn a chunk of the barrier if it is supported by the ground. This means it will sometimes only spawn 2 barrier chunks. Also, the barrier orb can no longer be placed on small pieces of geometry. It must be placed on the ground or on top of boxes. I think this is great to minimize the exploits of the map. Sage is already one of the best champions in the game, and I think this is a great rework. On top of these adjustments, expect visual reworks to both Omen and Breach. There have been a few map updates, the first one being adding curtains to the top of the double doors on Haven to remove the Sage barrier orb boost that allowed players to see through a sliver of the door at the top. I have personally used this many times, and it makes it near impossible for the enemy to see you through that sliver in the door, so this is definitely going to help that little cheat spot there. They also fixed an issue with Cypher camera being placed on the Haven A main boxes. They did multiple fixes on the geometry on Haven, Bind, and Split to fix exploits and help optimize gameplay. Updated materials on Bind and Haven to make surfaces more consistent overall, and changed color of Radianite crates in order to unify overall visuals. So there's a few fixes there that I think are optimal. Riot has also made a few tweaks to Observer mode. They added a ghost cheat as an option to custom games with cheats enabled, allowing you to fly around the map in no-clip mode. Ability HUD no longer displays when entering drone camera as an observer. Exiting drone camera will now swap back to the most recently viewed player if they're still a valid view target. And swapping through players to view will now iterate through an entire team before going to players on the other team. There have been quite a few HUD and UI changes. I will go through these very quickly. In-game, new directional damage indicator visual, new low health and low ammo visual, removed character portrait from player's minimap icon to better distinguish player's icon. Icon will receive additional color and polish in the future. Voice activity is now shown above allies' heads. Added color to spike icon above allies' head to make it easier to see. Fix the ultimate ability icon above teammates' heads showing as charged after getting 1 ult point instead of when actually charged. And ping elements now fade when under player aim. Previously only text faded. For the out of game, they relocated Find Match button from social panel to play screen, renamed to Start. Relocated Practice button from social panel to play screen. Added Play Again button to end of game screen. Made the flyouts on the nav progression widget clickable. Made main navigation button click targets easier to click. Added an option to orient and fixed minimap so that player's starting side is always at the bottom. Adjusted all map assets to that full fixed orientation, consistently placed attackers at bottom and defenders at top. Added hover tooltips to thumbnails in the collections view to show item name. Scroll speed tweaked to make scrolling social panels smoother. Made crosshair preview and settings shorter to make more room for controls. So a lot of HUD and UI fixes, guys. These are going to be great starts, and I expect more in the future. Riot has also added the ability to abandon a multiplayer custom game. Using the leave match button in the escape menu will allow you to permanently leave the match without penalty. They have also updated the audio occlusion system to help players better differentiate audio distances. And for example, Haven B to a short, you should perceive sounds from their correct distance and not as if they were right next to you. I think this is key because a lot of our judgment comes from our audio cues that we hear, and every slight change in audio, we make decisions based on these. So I think this is a great implementation. It's definitely gonna have a big impact if they did it right. They also did a change where players who abandon match-made games or dodge agent selects will now experience penalties that prevent them from queuing for a period of time. Frequent offenders will experience higher queue time penalties. This is great. This is just like League of Legends, and I think this will help the balance of the game. It allows us to get to matches quicker, so this is very important, if not the most important change in this section. They enabled the ability to see Valorant players online and Riot Games, adjusted play flow UX, moving queue buttons into lobby screens, adjusted social panel UX to accommodate additional space, adjusted end of game UX to clean up design of various widgets, adjusted chat disconnect error state to be less intimidating, spawn practice bots option in the shooting range moved from F3 menu to an in-world shootable switch. For all shotguns, moved the crosshair center dot by 1px to center it on the screen. The devs expect shotgun lethality to increase, but this is a joke, guys. I won't go through this. Shotguns, in my opinion, are very OP in this game, especially on these tight, these tight maps. So I do hope they do change the shotguns lethality rate a little bit. I think you need to be really close for them to be as lethal as they are. There have been many bug fixes in-game and in client. I will not cover all of these as it will be draining on your time and mine, so we'll go over a few. So in-game fixes. For Phoenix, fixed a bug where Phoenix would get teleported back to an Ascender rope ladder after respawning, in cases where Phoenix died while Run It Back was active and he was attached to the Ascender. Never experienced this, but I'm glad they fixed it. Phoenix fixed a bug where for a brief time after Run It Back ended, Phoenix could be damaged in the place where he fizzled. That's also great. I never experienced that as well, but I'm glad they fixed it. Viper updated the appearance of Viper's toxic screen on the minimap to show gaps in the wall. Okay, that's good to know. Viper fixed Viper being able to animation cancel Viper's pit and prevent spike planted announcement from playing after a round has ended and hiding the round end announcement, which should clearly indicate the result after the buzzer plant rounds. For Cypher, they fixed a bug where Cypher's cyber cage would be selected at a larger range than intended, causing overlap interaction issues. That's good. Haven't experienced that quite yet. There's a bunch of other in-game fixes you guys can go through if you go to the Valorant website and read over the patch notes. I just don't want to keep reading all these for you guys. I know you guys have your time's precious, and I want to make this video as concise as possible. Let's move on to bug fixes in the game client. We'll touch a few of these. They fixed an issue that allowed players to purchase items not available in their respective stores. That's great. Fixed an issue that let players equip content they didn't own. Also good. Fixed issues where display settings would get reapplied when joining and leaving games, which could move the window or change display mode in rare cases. This is going to be great, especially for streamers, as that can be an issue. I've had, played many betas where the display settings would change. Fixed network stability indicator sometimes appearing when setting was disabled. Line of sight is no longer required to pick up the spike when overlapped by a player. Okay, all these are really great. Again, guys, please go over all these different bug fixes. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of intricacies within each one. I don't want to go over each one, but I recommend you guys go to the Valorant website and check them out. This concludes the end of the video, guys. Please do subscribe if you did enjoy the video. If you do enjoy watching Twitch streamers, I do stream Valorant on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to roughly 4 p.m. And I would love to have you guys join. Please do follow on Twitch. Please sub. Please hit the notification bell. And look forward to meeting you guys. Take care.